Now that I have Lincoln in my scene with my favorite Disney characters, what I'm going to do is prepare to blend him in. So first step of this, I might want to make sure he's in exactly the right place. I think I'm going to have him pop in right here between Donald and Mickey. And I'm actually realizing I need to change his size a little bit more. So I'm going to go to Free Transform, and this is something I can continue to adjust. Again, I'm going to press Shift as I grab the top left corner, and really you can grab any corner, and I'm just going to make him a tad bit smaller. All right. So that's done. I'm going to press Enter, and that will apply my effect. Again, if I had wanted to unapply the effect, I could tap on the screen, and I could press No to apply the effect. So now I need to start working with my layers. So again, I have my Disney one in the background, and I'm going to unlock it for this purpose just by double-clicking on that lock. I'm going to go ahead and right-click on that to duplicate the layer. And now I'm going to actually move that layer on top of Lincoln. And you can see it is now disappeared. What I'm going to need to do now with this layer is start using my erase tool. And with this, I don't really want it to be feathered. And just for a quick preview, you can see I just press erase once, my Lincoln comes right into view. But what I want to do is erase in very specific places. I want to erase where my characters aren't. So for instance, I want to come right in here, start to erase, and up in here. And you can see that if I go anywhere that Lincoln isn't, I'm not actually losing anything. And that's for a very specific reason. That is because I have this layer 0 background. So if I were to get rid of this layer 0 background, you can see that my layer copy up top, which is, again, should be above the Lincoln, is actually missing some essential stuff. But because it's in exactly the same place as my layer 0, once I have that layer 0 there selected, it looks as if it's blended perfectly. And to really do this right, I probably am going to want to zoom in and use my erase tool very carefully. So I'm going to grab my zoom tool. I'm going to come right in here and get my eraser. And with that eraser, I'm going to need to go to the even smaller. I'm going to select 15. Oops. So I clicked on the Lincoln accidentally. I'm going to come back here to my Disney window. And as I come in, I can select exactly where the edges of Mickey's ears are to make sure that I'm making space for Lincoln fully. And I'm going to just scroll down a little bit and get right in here, right along the edges of where Mickey is, as well as where Donald is. I can scroll up to double check that that's good. I'm going to just smooth out Donald's hat a little bit. And there we have it. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. And if I want to change Lincoln's position now, again, I press Shift to zoom out. Now as I want to change Lincoln's position, because I've created a gap here, I can start using my arrow tool. Oops, my bad. So I'm going to Control Z for that. Start using my arrow tool with layer 1 selected. And I can start moving Lincoln around. And you can see if I move him out of where I've erased, he starts to disappear. But generally, I can move him anywhere right around here, anywhere that seems to be a good fit. And now I'm going to select back to this layer, do a little more erasing to make some room for his head. And this time I'm going to just go a lot bigger. And I can actually erase anything up in the sky. The thing I don't want to, because the sky is like the background. That's all captured here. The thing I don't want to erase is any of my characters. Oops, I'm going to undo that. So the reason that didn't appear is because I was selecting layer 0. So if I were to go back there, I would lose all that. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to make sure I'm on the copy. And you can see that the layer order really matters. Lincoln being on top now means he's on top of my characters. Putting him back here means he's below those characters. And now I can demonstrate exactly what I mean. If I were to erase now, let me make sure I have the right layer selected. If I were to erase now here, then you can see Lincoln starts getting on top of Mickey. And that's something we really don't want. But anywhere in the sky, which is the background, it's not our foreground, doesn't really matter for this. And you can see right here, by removing layer 0, the bottom layer, you can see exactly how much I have removed. And it looks like I had to undo once because I lost a little bit of Mickey's ear. All right, so I'm going to select my Lincoln again. His size is still a little big, so this is where the art of this comes in. You just really want to finesse it. I'm going to keep bringing him down and experiment with where to put him. Maybe I'll put him right here. And the only thing I'm noticing that isn't working about Lincoln, other than the little bit of blending I need to still fix up in his hair, is that down at the bottom I'm not seeing his suit right around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this whole image. I actually have multiple choices. Another thing I could do is paint a black suit back here. But for this case, I'm going to just crop this image. So image, crop, and I can actually use this tool as well. And I will select everything up to about this point because I don't want to lose the tongue of Pluto over here. And I am seeing that I need to actually add in on this layer just a little bit of paint. And I'm just going to do some black paint. I'll make it a slightly smaller size and fill in this area with paint. The reason we're not seeing it is because I'm also going to have to go in with this top layer and very carefully erase so that it becomes black paint. So I will go ahead and do that now. I'm going to get my brush to a smaller size, and then you can see as I do this, make sure it's down to the bottom. As I erase this from this layer, it looks as if Lincoln's suit continues or as if Mickey's suit continues. And for blending purposes, it doesn't totally matter. The last thing I will need to do is just come into here, make sure I have Lincoln selected. And I'm going to want to get in a little closer on his hair with my erase tool. So, just like so. And I can even switch to a feathered brush so that I can really make him blend in with the scene. So I'm doing these final touches, especially to get rid of these hard edges where I use that eraser. It's good to use the hard edges to get close, but then better to use feathering towards the end. And I had to undo that because I got a little bit of his ear, and you can see that over and over as I'm doing this process, I make a move and then often have to undo some things. And so it's often a good idea to lift your mouse away from, to like unclick the mouse button so that if you have to undo something, you don't undo all of your work. So I'm going to zoom out just to show you fully what this looks like. I now have Lincoln in my scene with my Disney characters. And in the next video, I will show you about the different options for saving.